Hello, YouTube family. This is Ferguson coming back again. Talking about narcissism today. We've been on a path of just equipping, and arming people, how to kill a narcissist. And someone put me on my backside early this morning, and I went to use a bathroom and I read the comment, and they said they have been with the narc for a very long time, over 2 decades, and like they felt like they were going crazy. They felt like they were losing it, and it hit me in my heartstrings, and I literally put down the phone, and I was like, it took me back to where. And listen, she was in it longer than I was. Like I was in it for about a little over 12 years. I dealt with it, but it wasn't. I probably didn't get to the place where she was until my 10th year. And I thought about it, and I say, especially when you're in a long-term relationship or married to the narcissist, like it's so much at stake. And she just, I feel like she was, just kind of crying out, and I empathize with her. And I understand where she was, and it took me back in that process. It was a struggle. It was like, to me, it was one of the worst things that I've been through. It's one of the worst things that I've dealt with. And I said to myself, like, if I was in those shoes, what would I do? Or if I was able to speak to the what I'm about in my mid 40s, if I was able to speak to myself, about 10, 12, 14, 15 years ago, being in that situation, how would I instruct myself? And I said to myself, you know what? I would just put my foot down. I would separate myself from it. I would give the narcissist a chance, which I already know they're not going to change, but I would, just for the namesake of it, give them a chance to sit down with therapy. I would basically, lay down certain rules and say, like, hey, listen, like, you're going to respect me like this, you're going to do this, you're going to do that. But ultimately, we know that the narcissist is not going to respond to that. Like, they're going to continue manipulating. So honestly, I would tell myself, go through a therapy session, let them show their phony self, and just walk away from it. Because at the end of the day, you're not gonna win. And this individual acts like, like, what should I do? And honestly, what I would do, and I don't want to influence anybody to make the wrong or the right decision, but you really gotta ask yourself some questions. Is this healthy? Like, you deserve more than that. You deserve to be loved. And if you're sitting here questioning, how deep the person loves you, or even if you're to the point where you're on the internet saying, like, is this person a narcissist? 9 times out of 10, they are a narcissist. And it's unfortunate that, we invest so much time and emotional energy into these people, but the truth is, they're not gonna change. So I would just slowly come up with a plan to separate, to leave. And listen, it may not be easy. Like, it may be children involved. It may be assets involved. It may be other things involved. But listen, there's no price you can put on your happiness and your well-being. And you got to understand something. Like, this person has sat on you for so long. They've sat on your emotions. They've sat on that spiritual place in you, where, like, once you separate from that person, you're gonna find yourself coming back to you. You're gonna find your life picking up and turning around. So I would say, just get out of it, because you're just gonna continue expending emotional energy. You're gonna continue trying to fix them, trying to help them, and it's going to be to no avail. So quite honestly, again, talk to a counselor, get some counseling, get some couple counseling, relationship counseling. But listen, just know in your mind, like, you're not going to accept halfway. Like, you're not going to accept not being honest and not being forthcoming. And listen, if you start paying attention to them and you start trying to be honest with them, you'll figure out that they're not going to be honest with you. They're not going to tell you the truth. So again, what I would have did, 15 years ago, 10 years ago with my narcissist, I would have just took her to counseling and just really found a way to start slipping away from it. But what I did in the contrary was I started to try to hold on. I went through the cycle of, okay, I can't let go. But the narcissist, hit me so low below the belt. I mean, calling the police on me, doing certain things to where I couldn't even let go. So again, if I had a chance to do it over, I would just walk away. And trust me when I tell you, 9 times out of 10, they're narcissists. If you're here, you've been questioning it, and they're not going to change. And I'm sorry to say it. And listen, I'm a believer. I believe in the redeeming power of God. But at the same time, the individual have to be real. They have to be willing to say, like, I own my stuff. I accept responsibility for what I've done and who I am. But the narcissist will never do that. So, again, I would advise anyone who's in that dilemma where you're in the research phases, and you're asking yourself, like, why do they treat me this way? Why do I feel like I'm going crazy? You're dealing with a narcissist, and then they're not going to change. You have something to say?
Yeah, I would say try couples counseling, right? Because you're married and you want to make sure you exhaust all measures in any situation, whatever it is. But I also want you to go and have your own individual counseling, because when you do break free, there is a pull, like you said, that will happen and you may just go back. But sometimes we don't realize what we deserve. Sometimes we don't realize what we're sitting in until you get into a counselor, and make sure you choose them wisely until you sit on their chair and they start to begin to open up old wounds. And sometimes we are in places where, trauma has placed us, and we've accepted things that trauma has told us we have no choice but to accept. But no is an acceptable answer. And your worth is so much more important, especially if there's kids involved, because they see everything. You think they're not watching, but they're paying attention. So it's bigger than just you. You know what I mean? It's about the people that are surrounded by you. I thank you for your courage and your strength to even say, hey, I need help. I've lost myself. But in this point, in this position in your life, you've recognized it. So now that you've recognized that there's an issue, then go get help. Try your best, so that when you do let it go, if that's the route that you take, you can say, I've exhausted all measures. So for sure, I tried my best, but this just wasn't it.
Yeah, so you have to keep things in perspective and just know, like, know that, listen, whatever the outcome is, that, I'm gonna be in a happy, safe space. Yeah. And listen, like, now you're gonna have to create boundaries, and because the narcissists have conditioned you for so long, it's just their second nature with dealing with you, of crossing those boundaries, because they're so manipulative. They think they got you so much. They think you're so stupid. They think so many negative things about you. So now, as you recognize it and you're creating boundaries, or you're going to begin to entering into therapy, like, it's going to be a struggle. But again, don't accept it. Don't accept nothing but the best. And so whether the person is a narcissist or not, like, only accept honesty, only accept love. And if they're not going to give it to you, then you need to give them their pink slip.
And even if they decide not to go to counseling with you, my suggestion is that you go for yourself, even if you have to do it in secret. Go get counseling. Begin your healing process, so that as you begin to slip away, if that's what you decide to do, you'll be healed and whole and ready for the next, if that's what God has for you. Because he does have that for you. Yes. We're created to have someone, and sometimes people change, and some people don't want to do the work, and some people, it just doesn't work out. And sometimes there's an expiration date. And so if this is the expiration date, be okay with that, knowing that God is going to take care of you. Trust that.
And again, I just, that person, they really hit on a heartstring, and it took me back. It took me back to that place where I was so depressed, like, and I realized, like, a lot of situations that I was in, even financially, was because I was dealing with the stress of all the war phase of dealing with the narcissist. Like, it broke me down. I couldn't work. I was dysfunctional. I had to sell my home, and just so many things just fell apart. But I'm glad it happened, because, I feel like in that process, it revealed to me who I was really dealing with. And more importantly, I realized, like, you're entitled to happiness. You're entitled to have somebody by you who don't lie to you. You're entitled to have someone next to you that loves you for real, that don't have a hidden agenda, and don't have a type of codependence or hidden agenda for you. Like, you deserve that.
You do.
And you should not accept anything less but someone that's gonna be honest, that's gonna love you. That's what you deserve. So listen, for everyone out there that's struggling with this, that you found out you had a narcissist in your life, you know what? Go through the progressions. Get counseling, get therapy, but you know what? Change your mind and stop accepting what they give you.
Yeah.
Stop accepting the silent treatment. You know what I'm saying? Just stop accepting it. And the moment you start putting your foot down and start planning to move in another direction, then you'll see some changes. And guess what? Really, I'm gonna be honest with you about narcissism. The problem is not them. The problem is you. You got to wake up and realize your self-worth. You got to realize that there's so much more for you. And that, listen, this whoever you with right now that's abusing you, that's treating you in that fashion, like, there's somebody else out there that's gonna love you and that's gonna give to you, that's gonna support you. Like, the narcissists have psychologically messed with you. They've messed with your emotions. They've messed with your heart. They've toyed on your heartstrings. And so now it's time to wake up. So again, I'm not telling you just to walk them away and give them a Dear John letter. Go through some progressions, but also know in your mind, like, listen, I may be in a position where I got to completely walk away. Or I may be in a position where I got to work with them so that they prove themselves. So again, this is Ferguson and BB signing off. We kind of took a couple of weeks breaks from doing some videos, but we're back. But I had to start back, on this pace with just kind of talking about that, because somebody is in a situation where they're about to make a decision and they feel frustrated, they feel upset, they feel like they're fighting a battle that they can't win. Again, just calm yourself down. Like, find peace within yourself. You don't need them to make you happy. But again, they can't treat you that way anymore. And you the one that have to make the changes.
Absolutely.
So until next time, is anything else you want to say, sweetheart?
No, that's it.
Until next time, we are signing off.
Praying for you. Bye.